I'm here in Biljana, Montenegro, about a 20-minute drive from Kotor. Kotor is a city that's very important to Sarah and I. It was the beginning of how we ended up doing what we're doing today, selling our stuff and traveling the world full time. This is a story about how random encounters can completely change the trajectory of your life. So what's the story about Kotor? Why is it important to us? Well, it used to be that every year we would take turns choosing where we would vacation each year. So it just so happened that for 2019, it was Sarah's turn to make a choice. And we decided on a 3-week vacation that would see us in Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and also Montenegro. We packed our bags, we flew to Zagreb, Croatia. We spent some time in Zagreb. We did Split, Dubrovnik, drove through parts of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Then we came to Montenegro and we spent, maybe 4 days in Dobrota, which is just on the outskirts of Kotor. So normally we don't spend a lot of time inside old towns doing anything other than just looking around. You know, typically your eateries and drinks places, cafe bars are typically very expensive in relation to what sort of normal local prices would be. But that day we were walking through the old town and we decided to sit at a little bar and have a couple of beers. So we ordered a couple of drinks. We're sitting outside and there's another guy sitting on his own. He's having a beer as well. So being a social kind of guy that I am, and always interested in meeting people, I asked him if he spoke English. He replied in perfect English. And I said, hey, why don't you come join us at our table? You don't have to sit there on your own. So he inquired about why we were here, what we had been up to. We explained we'd been on vacation, that this was our last stop, and that we'd be going home afterwards. And we asked him what he had been doing. So he said, well, have you ever been to Albania? The answer, of course, was no. We didn't even really know where Albania was at that point. He explained to us that he had come through Greece, he had spent some time in Albania, that it was wonderful. He said, you've got to go. And we said, so are you on vacation? What are you doing? And this guy said to me, no. He said, I'm from Seattle, Washington area. He said, I sold my house, I quit my job, and I'm traveling the world full time. And the light bulb went off in my head. You had that sort of feeling of, you know, this guy's living the dream, and here we are going home back to work. So we returned back to Canada. Of course, you get back to normal life. You start thinking about these things, and then you come up with all the reasons why you can't do it. That's where most people kind of eject on the plan to do something like this. But over the next few years, you know, we planned more vacations. We came to Albania. We really fell in love with the place. And each time we came back, it was like, I wish we could live here. I wish we could live in this region, right? And it was almost like, we need to find a way to make this happen. That was the start of it. Of course, hi, how are you?
Hi, fine.
YouTube.
YouTube. How name? Name.
All right, so we're just here along the water, and we run into a bunch of kids here. So we're gonna just take a photo of them and put them in the video.
All right, show us your muscles, guys.
Hi guys. Hi guys. Subscribe for our channel.
Like,
share, subscribe.
How is Montenegro?
Yes. Good.
Beautiful.
Good.
Beautiful.
Yes. Like, share, subscribe.
All right, so kind of forgot where I was mobbed by a bunch of kids here. They want to know what's going on with YouTube, right? So then you go home and you try to figure out a way to put this all together. And it was years in the works. Certain things had to happen. And, you know, amazingly, we're here, right? And couldn't be a better place. What do we like about this region in the world? Well, I tell you, there's a whole lot to like about it. First, the people. Second, the weather. Third, the cost of being here. I'd rather be here than in other places in Europe. I always found going home from vacation kind of like going home from camping. You know, that last day, you just get that feeling in your stomach. You're like, oh my God, you know, it's over. And with vacation, you might have to wait another year. And, you know, where there's a will, there's a way in life. Not always. You know, we're obviously very blessed and fortunate to be in a position to do this. It's not something that everybody can do. And I would say also we did get, you know, a fair bit of inspiration as well on YouTube, actually, from other people that have done sort of similar things. During the pandemic, there was a lot of pent-up desire for travel, and I think a lot of people got a different perspective on what their life was about, right? And all of a sudden it sort of inspired a group of people. Hi, how are you guys? There's nice kids here everywhere. It's a great country. Everybody's friendly. So what else was involved in making this happen? Well, you gotta have some guts. I know it doesn't sound like that when you say, oh, well, you must have enough money to just stop working and retire at 51, and you know, how gutsy is that? Maybe it's not so gutsy, but you know, it's definitely not the normal thing to kind of pack up and leave where you're from, leave all your family and friends behind. You know, it's a bit different. Not many people do it. There's a lot of people that dream, and only, like, you know, a small percentage of people actually execute it. So many people have they got a reason why they can't make it happen. They'll always come up with a reason why they can't make it happen. I think it's probably fear of the unknown, you know, especially if you're kind of set at home, you got a good job, you got everything's all sorted out, and you think, why am I going to disrupt my life and take a risk? Well, I think if you don't take any risks, you'll never have any rewards. The easiest way, you know, sometimes isn't the most rewarding. So far, this has turned out to be more than I ever expected. You know, I wondered about whether I would be bored, what I would do with my time, you know, what it would be like to live in foreign countries where oftentimes there's nobody who speaks your language. There's lots of frustrations as well. It's not all just glorious stuff, right? This kind of weather here today, this makes up for any of that. You know, back at home, this kind of weather that we have here today, this might be, you know, maybe 2 months of the year, 3 if you're lucky, and then you've got a lengthy period of rain and clouds and rain that can go on for a month on end. You know, it's not even summer, and you know, we've had, let's say, 2.5 months of weather very similar to this today. It's pretty hard to say no to that. So that's kind of funny. I'm out filming this video while Sarah was taking care of some business, and I end up bumping into her. If you decide that this kind of lifestyle is what you want, and you have the financial resources to do it, the hardest part is executing and taking the leap of faith. And even if you don't have the financial resources, we've met a lot of people who have started online businesses who still work while they're traveling and enjoy these lovely countries where the weather is much nicer than at home and there's a much lower cost of living. All right, got some groceries in there. Sarah's excited. She's carrying all the groceries here. She's actually not carrying them all. I got the toilet paper. Doesn't weigh very much. Well, I also have a backpack on. So yeah, the hardest thing is just take that leap of faith, and you know, if it doesn't work out, you can always kind of reboot, go back home, and you know, put your tail between your legs, I guess. But you're best to you know, have a good plan. Have a financial plan in order. Commit to doing it for a certain amount of time. Then revisit it after that. Make sure you're still happy. I can tell you what, 3 months of this, I sure don't want to go home. I'm enjoying the sunshine. I'm also enjoying the different style of life that exists here. We walk everywhere. Everything you want is within walking distance. At home, you had to get in your car to go do anything. Quality of life, we've seen this in other channels as well, friends of ours, Warren and Julie. The quality of life, the parks, the walking, the weather. Nice little walk along the waterfront here today. You know, Mediterranean climate, palm trees, sunshine, nice breeze. It's freaking awesome. Just imagine myself right now retired at home in Vancouver. The weather would probably be crap. Everything would be 10 times the price. And I'd have to be driving my car everywhere, which I don't have anymore. How long since we drove a car?
Probably close to 3.5 months.
Yeah, that's right. Put gas in a tank. Had to worry about maintenance, all that crap. No thanks. Leave behind that life of high expenses and stress. And no fun. No good weather. No social culture. No coffee culture. The cafe culture here makes everything so social. If you just want to sit and people watch, you do it for hours. You do that in a Starbucks or something like that at home, and you're there for hours and you haven't bought anything, they'll be like, yeah, you need to move on, we got other people here, right? Here nobody bugs you. You just come in and do your thing. There's so many cafes that they don't need to worry about fitting other people in. And it costs like, I don't know, 1/5 of the price? I haven't spent more than $1.25 for a coffee since I've been here. So as I said earlier, the beaches here are kind of short and rocky. No sandy beaches to suntan on. People still like going out and having a bit of a lay down though. Sarah spotted this tree. What kind is it?
Look at the oleander up here. It's beautiful. It almost looks like a rhododendron from far away.
Anyway, it's quiet here. It's nice. Well, I hope you enjoyed our story today about Couture and the importance it played in us getting to this point in our life today. We hope that maybe you find inspiration or a random meeting with someone that gets you on the same kind of journey. It's been magical. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, I would say so.
My name's Jay.
And I'm Sarah.
And we're a couple of Canadians that are traveling the world full time. We hope you like what we're doing. And if you would, hit the like and subscribe button down below. It really helps us out. We'll see you in the next one.